Okay, I'm going to go over the significant digit rules that are shown on Google Classroom for this one. I'm going to try to explain them, okay? So now, anyway, we're going to use the significant digits when we're dealing only with measurements, okay? So if you measure something, uh, that is going to have a significant, the number of significant digits are important, okay? And so you need to make sure that you count them because we're going to use them to round our numbers off when doing calculations with measurements. So when we do calculations with measurements, we have to worry about significant digits, all right? So this example says the measurement of 2.1 centimeter would have two significant digits. Well, you're just counting the digits in the thing. So there's 1, 2. So that's two significant digits. So if you had a thing like 1.789 or something like that meters, that's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 significant digits, okay? Whereas if you have things that are exact values like 21 students, well, if you count 21 students in the class, hopefully there's nobody like chopped up or something. There's going to be exactly 21 students, okay? There's not like a partial student, all right? Or if you had some like pencils sitting on the desk, like if there were 3 pencils, 1, 2, 3, there's exactly 3, okay? So that's an exact value, all right? So they have an infinite number of significant digits. Okay, now the tricky part about these rules are the zero rules, and so we're going to get through that. But the first thing is anything that's not a zero is always counted in a measurement. So like a measurement of 1.23 would have 3 significant digits. Or like if you had 7.845, that's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 significant digits. All right. Now, let me see if I can make this scroll here. I'm going to erase this stuff because it gets in my way if I don't. So let me erase this stuff quick. All right. Okay, so now, sandwich zeros are a little bit trickier. Okay, well, they're not that tricky. You always count them. Okay, sandwich zeros are always counted. Okay, so like this one has 1, 2, 3, 4 digits. You count the zeros in the middle. And so this one has 4 significant digits. If you had like 7.0035, this would have 5 significant digits. You're going to count the zeros sandwiched in between two non-zero numbers. Okay, now leading zeros are never counted. And so the leading zeros are going to be those that lead off the measurement. Okay, now they're never counted, and you can see that they're called leading zeros because there's no non-zero to the left of them. Those are never counted. So the only significant digits that you would have would be the 2 and the 3. All right, so that has 2 significant digits. So if you had a number like 0.00038, okay, these leading zeros would not be counted. However, the 3 and the 8 would be counted, so that has 2 sig figs. Okay, now sometimes you can have leading zeros, 0.004, but you can also have like a sandwich zero. Okay, so the leading zeros are not counted, but the 4 would be counted because it's a non-zero. This 0 would be counted because it's a sandwich zero, and the 5 would be counted, so that would have 3 significant digits. All right, so leading zeros are never counted. Okay, now trailing zeros are only counted when there's a decimal place in the measurement. So, for example, if you have 500, notice there is no decimal point in that. And this should say decimal point, not a decimal place. A decimal point in the measurement. Okay? And so this 500, there's no decimal point. Okay, so you wouldn't count those zeros. So this one only has one significant digit, the 5. However, if you put a decimal point, then you count the trailing zeros. They're trailing zeros are those numbers to the right of a non-zero number, but there's no number to the right of the zeros, because then they'd be sandwich zeros. So anyway, so this one though, however, you're going to count all three, okay, because there's a decimal point right there. So if you had some number like 20 liters, okay, that would have one significant digit. But 20, like let's say 0.0 liter, okay, that's going to have 1, 2, 3, because trailing zeros are only counted when there is a decimal point in the measurement. And if there's a decimal point, you have to count all the trailing zeros. Okay, so that has 3 significant digits. Okay, like 4.70. Okay, that 0 is a trailing zero, but there is a decimal, so you would count it. That has 3. If you had like 0.0070, well, remember leading zeros are never counted, but the 7 is counted. And zeros, trailing zeros are counted when there's a decimal point in the number, so you would count that. So that one has 2. Okay, so now you need to do the homework that goes with this and see if you can make sure you know how to do that work. Okay, that's it.